So I mentioned in some of my previous videos that I was going to do a series of reviews based on the Rocky movies, so that's what I'm going to be starting today. Rocky was directed by John G. Avildsen and was written by and stars Sylvester Stallone as the title character of Rocky Balboa. Rocky is the underdog that everybody wants to root for. He's a character that inspires all who sees him. In fact, I dare you to not be inspired by him. It's impossible. Really, it's impossible. But before you start to feel inspired by this character, you kind of have to feel a little bit sympathy for him first. By day, he's acting as personal muscle for a loan shark named Gazzo, and by night, he's boxing a bunch of small timers. All the while, he's been trying to go out with this girl named Adrian, but because she's so shy, he's having a hard time progressing. And you see the everyday life of this guy, and you just can't help but feeling bad for him because he just seems so lonely. Then one day, the heavyweight champion, Apollo Creed, offers Rocky a chance to box him, and that changes everything. Rocky is considered by many to be a must-see classic, and it's also considered to be one of the best sports movies of all time. But the thing I love most about Rocky is that it is just so much more than a boxing movie. This film is a beautiful study of the underdog archetype. Many films since have tried to capture that lightning in a bottle that Rocky was, and they haven't even come close, like at all. Let's talk about Sylvester Stallone. This film was his passion project, and it was the best thing that ever happened to him. This is also my favorite performance that he's ever given. He gives a performance that is just so raw and powerful, but he also manages to be very tender as well. You can tell that every single time he's on screen, he's putting his heart and soul into what he's saying because he's written this. This is something that he wrote, and this is a character that he invented. Like, he went insane. Well, I shouldn't say that. The story goes is that he went nuts behind the scenes of this film trying to pitch it to movie studios because his only requirement was that he was going to play Rocky, and he was having a hard time selling his movie idea off of that. But I'm glad that MGM finally picked him up and said that he could do it because this is his best performance ever. He was nominated for Best Actor and Best Original Screenplay, and he won Best Picture. And what's really crazy to believe is that before Rocky, the only people who knew who Sylvester Stallone was were the people who picked up a VHS of The Party at Kitty and Studs in the adult movie section. Now, this film is stuffed to the brim with amazing performances. It's not just Stallone here who gives a great performance. 3 other actors in this film were nominated for Oscars. Talia Shire as Adrian, Burgess Meredith as Mickey, and Burt Young as Polly. Adrian has such a great arc in this film. She starts off as this shy and quiet cashier at a pet shop who seems to have built a wall around herself pretty much. But as she finally starts to warm up to Rocky, you get to see her become a more happy person, and that you just love her because of that. Paulie is Adrian's brother, and he's one of Rocky's best friends. And Paulie really wants Rocky's job as being the personal muscle guy for Gazzo, the loan shark. But Rocky really doesn't want to give him that job at all, which leads to a couple of scenes that at first can feel a bit over the top and overwhelming, but after understanding the situations from different points of view, it makes complete sense. I think one reason why Rocky doesn't want to give Paulie the job is because he might feel that Paulie might cross the line. There was one scene earlier in the film where Rocky was going to collect from this one guy, and he was supposed to break his finger if he didn't pay the right amount of money. But Rocky didn't do that because he's a good guy. And I'm pretty sure he would have thought that Paulie might have crossed the line and actually did that. One frustrating thing about Paulie for me is the way that he treats Adrian in this film. Like, it's like emotionally abusive at some points. And how Rocky is still able to be good friends with him and be Adrian's boyfriend it's beyond me. Now let's talk about Mickey. Mickey is Rocky's lovable grouch of a coach, manager, trainer. Yeah, he's one of those guys. And at first glance, he may seem like a jerk, but as the film goes on and we see that he actually does care about Rocky, which is what eventually leads to him becoming the manager, we really start to feel for the character. Now I'm going to talk about one of my favorite characters in the franchise, Apollo Creed. When he chose to fight Rocky, he only did it for the sake of publicity. He only wanted people to think he cared about the little guys. It was all a publicity stunt. In fact, the only reason why he picked Rocky to fight out of all of the boxers in Philadelphia was because he thought the Italian stallion sounded cool going up against him. In this film, we only get to really see the public persona of Apollo Creed. He's a character that progresses a lot through the franchise. He doesn't get a lot of development in this film, but it does set a pretty good cornerstone for what his character will eventually become. But still, Carl Weathers went all out in his performance, and it's really fun to watch still to this day. Rocky is also a film that is so well done that sometimes you forget that you're even watching a film, and you're just watching, it feels like you're just watching the events of someone's life unfold. It's that good. And the way they shot this film, and the places they shot it, it just takes the audience to a place of such grit and realism. The moments where I notice this the most are the scenes that take place on the streets of Philly, and in the iconic training montage, and also in the fight. And oh man, that fight. You know these filmmakers have done something right when you are starting to react the same way you would do to an actual boxing match. Overall, I think Rocky is one of the best sports dramas ever made, and it's just a great film. You don't have to be a fan of boxing or of sports to enjoy this film. And yeah, I'm gonna give Rocky an A. Alright, stay tuned for more Rocky movie reviews coming soon. Alright, have a nice one. Bye!